Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, you're in for a wild ride. We're cracking open the full breakdown of WWE's Night of Champions event from June 28, 2025, held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
That's right.
Our mission is pretty clear. We're going to navigate all the chaos, pull out the most impactful moments, maybe uncover the biggest surprises, and really try to understand what this event means for the future of WWE.
Yeah.
Trust me, this wasn't just another show. It felt like a real narrative inflection point.
Absolutely. This deep dive isn't just going to be about who won and lost on, one single night.
Right.
It's about dissecting the narratives that were advanced, the pivotal character developments that sort of emerged, and the ripple effects that, well, they'll probably define the landscape for months to come. This event in particular was a bit of a masterclass in strategic storytelling, especially with those high-stakes King and Queen of the Ring finals.
Yeah, huge stakes there.
And of course, that really controversial main event.
Okay. Let's unpack the grand spectacle itself. Night of Champions, Riyadh. This was the 11th one, held at the Kingdom Arena. The sources paint a really vivid picture of the atmosphere. Michael Cole and former King of the Ring Wade Barrett were on commentary.
Standard crew.
But it was the crowd that really brought the energy, it sounds like. Fans singing along to entrance themes for Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes.
I'd love to hear that.
And Electric Ole and This Is Awesome chants. Pretty much all night. So how crucial is a crowd like that to an event of this magnitude?
Yeah.
Does it genuinely, elevate the performances?
Oh, it's absolutely critical. Yeah. A crowd that engaged and vocally invested becomes an active participant in the story, doesn't it?
Totally.
Their reactions amplify the drama, they validate the emotional stakes, and they can even kind of dictate the perceived success of a match.
Right.
For a pay-per-view, especially one in a unique international setting like Riyadh, that kind of red-hot energy isn't just background noise, it's a vital element. Shapes the whole experience for the performers and, ultimately for us watching. It makes every near fall feel way more dramatic, every comeback more heroic.
That makes perfect sense. And speaking of high stakes, the King and Queen of the Ring finals really did define new paths for their winners.
Yeah, these tournaments are pivotal, not just for the title shot, right? But for the identity they bestow.
Okay.
They can launch a superstar into a new echelon, sort of signaling a definitive change in their trajectory.
Let's start with the King of the Ring final. Randy Orton against Cody Rhodes. This wasn't just for a crown. The winner got that challenge for the undisputed WWE Championship at SummerSlam.
Huge prize.
The sources describe it as a classic, old-school match that really resonated with the crowd. Officiated by the veteran Charles Robinson, he's been around since '95.
Wow, yeah. Long time.
One really striking moment involved Orton hitting a superplex. His dad's old move, Cowboy Bob Orton.
The callback.
And immediately clenching his back, highlighting his real-life history with those spinal injuries that cost him, over a year?
Yeah, long time out.
Cody, ever the strategist, apparently specifically targeted that injured back, even stretching Orton around the ring post, which, interestingly, drew boos from the crowd.
Okay, playing the heel a bit there.
Yeah. We saw multiple near falls, counters, including an RKO Orton's signature finisher, that jumping cutter kind of out of nowhere.
Classic Orton.
And Cody still kicked out. Stunned everyone, apparently. There was also this conflicted moment where Orton considered hitting his controversial punt.
Oof, yeah, the head kick.
But he pulled back.
Yeah.
Only for Cody to avoid a similar attempt later.
Yeah.
The finish was brutal. Orton took a painful bump on an exposed turnbuckle.
Ah, the turnbuckle spot.
Allowing Cody to hit his finisher, the Crossroads, for the win. So what did this match, particularly Cody's targeting and Orton's moment of hesitation, tell us about where these two characters are heading?
Well, what's fascinating there is how much psychology was woven into the match. Cody's targeting of Orton's real-life injury wasn't just a wrestling tactic. Yeah. It felt like a calculated move to maybe create a bit of a villainous edge for him in that specific context, drawing those boos you mentioned. It shows his commitment to winning, maybe even if it means sacrificing some fan adoration right then. And Orton's hesitation with the punt? That's a subtle but pretty powerful character beat, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It reflects a legend sort of grappling with his past, perhaps trying to prove he can still win without using his most brutal, career-altering move.
But didn't work out that way.
No, in the end, it was a moment of instinct, not the brutality that cost him. This match, essentially, it cemented Cody as this relentless, maybe even ruthless, top-tier contender, willing to do what it takes, while still acknowledging Orton's legacy, as a mentor and future Hall of Famer. Cody's comments after about having to put down Jey Uso and now Orton on his arduous path.
Yeah, strong words.
Yeah, it really underscored that point. Sets a formidable challenge for whoever holds that undisputed title at SummerSlam.
So, Cody Rhodes, the 24th King of the Ring, is officially on a collision course with either CM Punk or John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship at SummerSlam. Now, for the Queen of the Ring final, we had Asuka against Jade Cargill.
Okay.
This match also earned the winner a shot at their brand's women's championship at SummerSlam. But the sources described this match as, well, rehearsed and careful and even blah by one reviewer, despite Cargill's power moves. What was the dynamic here?
Yeah, that assessment is quite telling, isn't it? Asuka initially worked Cargill's knee with what was described as a weak-looking dragon screw.
Not ideal.
No, and running kicks. But the immediate recovery from Cargill described as her magically selling the injury, showing no pain.
Right, just popping back out.
Exactly. After a kip-up, it really undermined the impact of Asuka's offense. While Cargill did land powerful moves like a spinning spinebuster and her finisher, Jaded, that sit-out power bomb.
She's got the power moves.
Definitely. But the perception of it being rehearsed and careful suggests maybe a lack of fluidity or spontaneity, which can hinder a match's ability to really connect emotionally. Ultimately, the source even noted she kind of fell over as she tried to sit on Asuka for the pin, and Asuka's shoulder may have come up, but it was ignored.
Oof, okay. Not the smoothest finish.
No. But despite these criticisms, Jade Cargill becomes the third Queen of the Ring in WWE history. Her post-match statement about the world being on her shoulders and advising listeners to praise yourself because you're fighting through the boos.
Interesting line.
Yeah, it hints at a character who's aware of maybe external pressures and criticism, but remains defiant. This victory, regardless of the match quality, it does firmly establish her as a top contender.
Right, it gets her the title shot.
Exactly. Promising a storm is coming for SummerSlam against the WWE Women's Champion, Tiffany Stratton. It was a win that propelled her forward, even if the execution had some rough edges.
Okay, so beyond the crowning of new royalty, Night of Champions also delivered some other high-impact clashes that further shaped the landscape. First up, a brutal Riyadh Boulevard street fight between Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley.
Oh yeah, this sounded intense.
This match truly lived up to its name. Variety of weapons, kendo sticks, chairs, the Arabic announce table, steel steps, even Ripley's studded belt.
Using her own gear. Nice touch.
Rodriguez even tied Ripley to the ropes at one point, delivering kendo stick shots. A major spot saw Rodriguez powerbomb Ripley through the announce table hood.
Big spot.
There was also interference. Roxanne Perez ran in to help Rodriguez, but Ripley quickly dispatched her, suplexed her on the floor, hit her with a sliding kick into a garbage can on Perez's head.
Ouch, taking out the interference quickly.
The finish saw Ripley pull off a precarious avalanche riptide, her signature move off the table, perched on the top rope for the win. The source commented that Raquel was booked strongly despite the loss, suggesting a potential future follow-up. What does this brutal win mean for Ripley and, I guess, for Raquel's trajectory?
Well, what stands out here is how effectively this match showcased Rhea Ripley's extreme violent side. She really leaned into that mommy persona, willing to inflict maximum damage to win.
Definitely seemed like it.
And booking Raquel Rodriguez strong, even in defeat, is significant. It means the rivalry probably isn't over.
Keeps her credible.
Exactly. Allows for a future redemption arc for Raquel, while further solidifying Ripley as this dominant, almost unstoppable force in the women's division. And the interference from Roxanne Perez quickly shut down by Ripley. That just reinforces Ripley's capacity to handle multiple threats, makes her victory feel earned and her character even more formidable.
Yeah.
This wasn't just a street fight. It was a brutal statement from Ripley.
Okay. Next, we have Sami Zayn against Karrion Kross, who had Scarlett with him. This match, while not for a title, felt incredibly significant for Sami Zayn. He entered in a traditional keffiyeh, huge crowd support. How did Kross's aggression and Sami's connection play into this one?
Oh, the entrance was a huge part of this match's emotional core, for sure. Sami Zayn's connection with the crowd, particularly in a region like Saudi Arabia, is just immense.
Yeah, it always is.
He embodies authenticity and resilience, and that traditional attire was a really powerful visual, resonated deeply. Cross, on the other hand, displayed a genuinely aggressive side we haven't always seen, taunting Zayn with stuff like, "I hate you, Sammy, you liar."
Getting personal.
Yeah. It marked a shift in his character, adding some much-needed intensity, I think. Key moments included Zayn's moonsault block off the barricade, Cross's repeated Doomsday Cytos, those gut-wrench suplexes, and that dramatic segment where Zayn almost passed out in Cross's cross-jacket submission but fought to the ropes. That really got the crowd behind him even more.
Classic Sammy fire.
Exactly. Zayn's eventual Helluva kick for the win got a huge ovation. This was noted as one of Karrion Kross's better performances in WWE, and honestly, probably largely thanks to Sami Zayn's incredible ability to sell Kross's offense.
Makes the opponent look good.
Right, and his overall strong psychological storytelling. It showed that when Kross is given the right opponent and motivation, he can definitely deliver.
Good point. And then the WWE United States Championship match. Champion Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sakoa. This was described as pure bloodline chaos. Multiple interferences, a significant debut.
Okay, here we go. The bloodline saga. Continue.
Sakoa blindsided Fatu before the bell. Fatu, despite that, declared, "All gas, no brakes." But then, the orchestrated chaos began. It wasn't just one distraction. We saw the shock return of Tonga Loa. He'd been out since Survivor Series, right?
Yeah, he was injured.
Attacked Fatu on the top rope with a spinning neck breaker.
Yeah.
And then the dramatic debut of Hikuleo, also called Tala Tonga.
Another family member arriving.
Pulled Fatu out of the ring, choke-slammed him onto the commentary table. With Fatu basically taken out by Hikuleo, Sakoa hit the Samoan spike, that thumb to the throat for the win. This wasn't just a title change, was it? What does all this interference, the new members, mean for the bloodline going forward?
Oh, this is way more than just a title change. It's a fundamental restructuring of the bloodline, or at least Solo's faction of it.
Right.
Solo Sikoa's win, backed by the debuts of Tonga Loa and Hikuleo, signifies a deliberate power play within the faction. It's a clear demonstration of new, formidable muscle bolstering Sikoa's claim to power.
Setting the stage for something.
Yeah, setting the groundwork for a potential challenge to Roman Reigns' long-absent authority, maybe. The way they collectively dismantled Fatu shows a coordinated, ruthless new guard taking control. This wasn't random chaos, it felt like a declaration. Solo is building his own army, and this event served as like a formal introduction to his expanded influence.
Raises a big question.
Definitely. What happens when Roman Reigns eventually returns to find his family faction looking very different and possibly under new leadership? Big drama brewing there.
Absolutely. And all of these high-stakes matches ultimately led us to the evening's crescendo. The undisputed WWE Championship match, Cena versus Punk. Highly anticipated.
It's a big one.
This match carried that historic 6-6 career record between them. Legends. How did that history factor into the atmosphere?
Oh, that historical parody added just an immense layer of tension and anticipation, didn't it? Every move, every counter felt weighted by their shared past.
Yeah, you could feel it.
You could sense the audience's investment in who would finally take the lead in that Lifetime series. It's a testament to their enduring rivalry.
The atmosphere was incredible, apparently. Dueling chants for Cena and Punk all through the arena. Both guys exchanged signature moves. Cena's 5 moves of doom, the sequence.
Yeah, the classics.
Punch GTS, the Macho Man flying elbow. Multiple counters, kickouts, keeping people on edge. Punk kicking out of 2 attitude adjustments. Cena kicking out of a GTS.
Finishers, yeah. Edge of your seat stuff.
In a conflicted character moment, Cena apparently briefly thought about using the title belt as a weapon, but threw it aside.
Interesting. Showing restraint. Or maybe just calculation.
Right. But then the chaos truly began. Cena accidentally hit the ref, Dan Engler, knocking him out. Punk hits the GTS. No ref, no count.
Or the ref bump. Classic trope.
That's when Seth freaking Rollins, Mr. Money in the Bank, comes out, accompanied by Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Big Bronson Reed. Okay,
Rollins and his crew inserting themselves, big implications.
Punk managed to fight off Breaker and Reed, even tried a risky plancha to the outside where he was apparently nearly spiked on the head by a botched catch.
Oof, scary moment.
Before Reed and Breaker slammed him through the commentary table, Cena gets back in, hits Rollins with an AA after Rollins called for a new ref.
Cena taking out Rollins. For now.
Then more chaos. Penta comes out slowly, brawling with Breaker and Sami Zayn, who also came out. Penta hits a dive off the ramp. Back in the ring, Cena hits Reed with an AA. This sounds like just pure pandemonium.
Complete mayhem.
How did this level of interference, especially with Rollins right there, affect the perception of Cena's win? And what does it say about his whole ruining wrestling character arc?
It was indeed pandemonium, but strategically so, I think. The controversial finish. Cena and Punk, the last men standing, they shake hands, they even hug. A moment of respect.
Wow, okay.
But then Cena attempts a low blow. Punk blocks it, goes for a GTS, but Rollins, now recovered, smashes Punk with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
There it is, the briefcase.
Hits his finisher, the stomp. Cena quickly throws Rollins out of the ring and covers Punk for the win. John Cena retains, takes that 7-6 lead in the series.
So Rollins cost Punk, Cena capitalized.
Exactly. This ending perfectly highlights the high drama and, yeah, the extensive interference that defined the match. Reviewers noted Cena's perceived physical limitations, right? And this chaotic series of run-ins kind of fits that narrative of Cena wanting to ruin wrestling, maybe not by being overtly villainous all the time, but by leveraging any means necessary to win, even if it means benefiting from outside interference.
Opportunistic.
Very. It allowed him to get the victory while also, strategically protecting his body towards the end, especially with Rollins lurking with that briefcase, which became the key weapon.
Yeah, the ultimate equalizer.
Right. It positions Cena as someone who will do whatever it takes, whether it's a handshake or a low blow attempt or just being in the right place at the right time to keep his title. It puts his character in a really fascinating, morally ambiguous light.
Okay, so after all that chaos, all the excitement, what are the big takeaways from Night of Champions? What's it set up?
Well, Night of Champions really did deliver on its promise of high-stakes action and dramatically shifted the landscape.
Seems like it.
First, the main event impact. The Cena-Punk match wasn't just a title defense. It was huge for Cena's character, a turning point in the rivalry, and Rollins emerged as that crucial spoiler.
Definitely a key player now.
Then, King of the Ring's path. Cody Rhodes solidified his dominance, right? Firmly setting his sights on the undisputed title at SummerSlam. He's the relentless challenger now. Queen of the Ring's rise. Jade Cargill is now established as a top contender, regardless of how that final match looked. She got the win. She gets the shot.
Big opportunity for her.
Ripley's intensity. Rhea Ripley's brutal victory just reinforced her aggressive persona, cemented her as dominant, and set the stage for more brutal rivalries.
Yeah, she looked unstoppable.
And finally, the Bloodline's evolution. Solo Sikoa's title win, the new alliances with Tongaloa and Hikuleo, it signals a major shakeup. Fresh, dangerous dynamics within that storyline, fundamentally restructuring the faction and hinting at major internal conflict down the line.
So it's clear this event has set the table for SummerSlam, and probably well beyond. Looking forward, it's confirmed. John Cena, undisputed WWE champion, faces Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. That's going to be packed with narrative weight.
Huge match.
And for the women, WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton faces the new Queen of the Ring, Jade Cargill.
Another big title match set.
Solo Sikoa's new U.S. title reign promises a new, complex chapter in the Bloodline saga. The debut of Hikuleo, the infighting, opens up tons of new storylines. And we know the Royal Rumble is set for Saudi Arabia in 2026, Crown Jewel in Perth this October. Seems like these international shows are really becoming key setup points.
Absolutely. This deep dive really shows how a single event can be this nexus of interconnected narratives, right? Each contributing to a larger, evolving story. It makes you wonder.
Yeah.
With so many new alliances formed, old rivalries intensified, new power dynamics established, how long can these new formations truly hold before the next major shakeup? What unexpected connections will be forged and maybe broken on the road to SummerSlam and beyond?